leading cable installer in the United States, if you have a problem with
Is
it.
it really?
Yeah.
It's actually after
I
7.
mean, it does it across, he's done it around the world.
It's what?
Slow.
Malta, he's done it in Malta,
Is it,
Scotland,
okay,
Look at me.
England.
ready, everyone? Let's call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Bruce.
Councilmember Barrett,
Here.
Councilmember Bisbal,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Mayor Kudrowski,
Here.
Councilmember Cusick.
And we've gotten emails from Bob Gazelle and for Alex asking them to be excused. So I invite a motion to excuse Alex and Bob.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, on page 3, the regular minutes from the March 21st meeting are there. Please look at them, and if acceptable, I need a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Also on pages 8 to 20 is different committee and commission minutes, the Planning Commission and the Park and Harbor and Pension, I see. I need a motion to accept in the public domain.
So moved.
Support? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public comment. We have any public comment? Vito, you look like a public comment, no? Okay.
Haven't seen
Well-
you in a while.
All right, our next item, item number 7, is the Arbor Day proclamation. I have a little cold here, so Brett told me I can dispense with the formal in front of the dais reading, but Arbor Day proclamation was started in 1872. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase our property values and beautify our community, whereas trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, now therefore I, Ted Kudrowski, Mayor of Grosse Pointe Shores of Michigan City, do hereby proclaim Sunday, May 7th, 2017 as Arbor Day. And I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Dated today's date. Brett, would you like to come and get that? And you may have a few words too. You just got such a... Okay, good. Thank you, Brett. Well, next item, Rhonda, reports by chairpersons.
Good evening, everyone. In your packet, you have a list of the wire transfers made for the month of April. There's not many this month, just for prescriptions, healthcare, and the payroll taxes. Following is a list of the checks issued since our last council meeting. There are checks issued for main breaks. We've been purchasing a lot of meters and registers for the water department. Payments for board of review members. A payment to Richmond New Holland for a new Hustler lawn mower. There was the final payment made to United Resource for the Lakeshore Interceptor project. Also, our annual contract fee for IT Right for our computer maintenance and service. There was also a check issued to Pine River Group for decking that's been previously discussed. Also, our quarterly payment to the City of Grosse Pointe Farms for our dispatch lockup in court. And another large item was to Schultz Equipment for the dump body for the new dump truck for $58,000. Is there any other checks that you might have any questions regarding?
Any questions of Rhonda? That IT contract for 10,230, Rhonda, that's for our computers, to keep the
Yes.
computers updated? Okay. Doug, you have any questions? Any other questions? I need a motion to approve this check run. Support. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you, Rhonda.
And then in the balance of your packet, you have the revenue and expenditure reports for all the various funds along with the balance sheet. At this time, we are still within budget and hope to be that way through the rest of the fiscal year, ending June 30th. And that's all I have for tonight.
I like hearing that. Okay. Thanks, Rhonda. Bruce, any updates on finances?
Finance Committee met, I think, 2 times since the last council meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for May the 10th. We've looked at the preliminary budget already for the coming year, and we will be voting May the 17th of the public hearing and the budget approval at that point. Any notable items this year, aside from the vacations for the entire, I'm sorry. We don't anticipate it, we don't anticipate a general tax increase. The one item of discussion will certainly be the continuation of the 1 mil special assessment, if you will, for the park renewal project, to complete the funding for that, to get that project ready to go forward. Otherwise, capital expenditures, personnel levels, all that is pretty much the standard status quo in those items. So we'll have, like I say, May the 10th, 10:30 in the morning, next finance meeting, and then May the 17th. So that's what we're going for. So
Good.
this year, we're not gonna have it, we've done it in the past, we really don't have the time this year to have, special meeting of the council as part of the budget. We aren't gonna do that this year, so because we really don't have any real capital plans. Our capital equipment for the next year is just some police cars, and just general miscellaneous stuff, really no big ticket items. We need to take a breath here. We've got a dump truck, we got last year, the Packer truck, years before that, the sewer project, so we're gonna catch our breath a little bit here, continue to fund those projects, so that's what we're doing.
Can I just ask Bruce, why would we continue that 1 mil increase when we still don't have any plans for the park? I mean, how can you justify that when there are no dollars even
Because
out
you're
there?
gonna need the money to make the project happen.
Okay,
I'm not spending the money, I'm the collector of the money.
okay,
So, and that's the big issue will certainly be the next council meeting, to make a decision collectively whether to continue that or not. But from what I can see so far, the way the plans have evolved in terms of what the residents want, with a separate guard shack, the change in the turnaround, the tennis court, either where they're gonna be, where their ultimate location will be, construction costs to do that, you're gonna go over to the 260 that we have. So if we raise another 260, we've got a budget of 520 plus whatever donations and that. If we can't get a beautiful project, a project that we're all proud of going forward, then we haven't done our jobs. And I know Mark is in the process of getting all the different bids for the different scenarios, because it's gonna be done in phases. You're gonna do the tennis court, then the parking lot, because this is a construction sequence, you don't fix a parking lot and then do construction equipment, that kind of thing. So the guard shack and all that, and those things, so, that's for next month.
okay,
That'll be the
okay.
topic of discussion, I think.
And Bruce, I think because of the vote on, at the May council meeting, we're gonna move the town hall to May 13th instead of May 20th, to give everyone a chance to at least, talk about finances. Usually just before that, we invite the residents, and not that it's exclusively limited to finances, but the calendar says May 20th. I think it would behoove us to move it to May 13th.
We'll fix that for next year, too.
Yeah, so that,
It's always before the budget meeting.
usually before the budget meeting, so. Okay, thanks, Bruce. Public Safety Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. With May quickly, or with spring quickly approaching, we will be ramping up at the park, at least the portion that's assigned to public safety. The Saturday before Memorial Day, we will be moving to a 3-shift, midnights, afternoons, and days, as well as a power shift on the weekends, where we'll have 2 rangers on duty to handle the high volume of picnics, et cetera. So that's kind of where we're moving currently. I wanted to remind all the residents that a copy of the park rules is on the website, and there are copies on the table upstairs as well. So we would ask that they all familiarize themselves with we did tighten the security last year at the park, and I'm really proud of the Rangers. They did a great job. They did it professionally. They did it courteously, and so we're continuing that for the next year, and as well as park passes are available. If you've dropped off your applications, we have them at the public safety desk. The fishing rules, which we had some issues with fishing last year, they'll be posted at the park on the bulletin board as well as near the marina. I've provided the park rangers at the gate with float plans. Any resident who will be on an extended boat trip can fill out a float plan, and the float plan should not be kept with us. It should go to a family member, relative, et cetera, who knows where they will be. I'm currently in the process of hiring 2 to 3 rangers. We have a good core of people from last year that are coming back. I have 6. We think we can do it with 9. So because the guard shack will not be erected this year, probably completed this year, that will require some additional staffing, but we don't think that's going to be necessary this year. The Hearst tool that I spoke of later last month or 2 months ago will be delivered tomorrow. We're looking forward to getting it and getting some training on it. This is a tool that is used for vehicle extrication, cutting apart vehicles. We've even used it to separate inside of a home. We've used it to separate the banisters on a stairway when little ones get their heads stuck between the banisters. So it can pry or pull or cut just about anything you can imagine. So the Public Safety Department is still looking into a Coast Guard quality rescue kayak. We're working with Grosse Pointe Farms to see if we can get the best price. They may be purchasing one as well. I've been talking with Mark in regards to that. Statistically, I won't need it for another 26 years, but I thought I'd go ahead and get it. So, but at any rate, that's what we're looking at, and then that's all I have for tonight.
Are there any questions of the chief?
Can you address the accident that happened on Vernier last week with the car that was upside down?
In general,
took the tree
yes.
out?
There was a gentleman who was eastbound on Vernier. He had a small fender bender at Morningside, and he continued eastbound on Vernier. He lost control of the car, went left to center. He hit a city tree and caught it just right on an angle, and it flipped his truck. His truck landed on its roof at 70 Vernier, and we had to get him out of the car. We had to cut him out of the car, and he survived. He was taken to a local hospital, but he was under the influence of narcotics as well. So.
Wow. Well, thanks, chief. And chief, thanks for meeting with that resident about her situation.
Absolutely,
Thank you very
anytime. We had
much.
a great meeting too. She was
Good.
very pleased.
Thank you. Brett, Public Works.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Thanks again for allowing me to speak on behalf of your Public Works Department. As I look for my notes. As you know, when spring arrives, things get real busy for the DPW, and I'm sure you're well aware of the construction taking place on Lakeshore Road, north of Duval, heading north. And currently we're in the process of installing a 12-inch water main. It's going to extend from Duval north to the Fort Estate. So far, things are going as planned. The construction crew has been cleaning up very well in the evening, and I expect this project to be done probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks. There will be certain times when water services will be interrupted. It should be a short period of time, no more than 8 hours, and all of our residents are notified 24 hours in advance. And so far, we've had no complaints on any water shutoffs that we've had so far, so things are working out pretty well. I also had the opportunity to attend a meeting on March 29th regarding the Milk River project. This was an informal informational meeting, and I'd just like to pass on a few tidbits that I gleaned. This is a $38.8 million project that it's going to improve and update the stormwater facility serving Grosse Pointe Woods, Harper Woods, and St. Clair Shores. Most of the work will be done in Grosse Pointe Woods, next to their DPW. They have a large pumping facility there. A small addition will be put on the recirculation station, which is located on Lake Shore, right at the bridge of the Milk River. That little building in there has a pump, and it basically recirculates water from the lake just to keep that water nice and clean and fresh. They're going to put an addition on that and upgrade that particular building. There's also a 42-inch pipe that runs underneath the Milk River where the circulation water comes, and there's a break in that pipe. And I know there's a lot of questions on where that construction is going to take place. Well, that construction is going to take place in Grosse Pointe Woods, and they're going to enter from the roads in the Grosse Pointe Woods. So both trucking, necessary trucks are all going to go through Grosse Pointe Woods. We're not going to see a lot of, or any truck traffic coming through our city. This winter is going to be when they do the work. Apparently it has to be when it's cold and they don't have the stormwater flows coming through, and also apparently the DEQ wants ice to be in the river. So it should be a very clean, quick winter project for them. DTE continues to work in Grosse Pointe Shores. InfoSource is currently installing gas mains on Lakeshore Road. I'm sorry, forgive me, on Woodland Shore, and they're also installing gas services on Lakeshore Road at this time, near Weber and Clairview. Concrete repairs are taking place as we speak on the Edgewood subdivision, while landscape repairs are underway throughout the city. We had a little hiccup yesterday in the Williston subdivision, and the problems have been solved, and things are looking pretty good at the moment. If you have any questions regarding the project as far as DTE, feel free to give me a call in my office at the DPW number, and we're fielding all of them, relaying them to DTE, and making sure our residents are well pleased when the job is finished. I've had conversations with our finance committee regarding road repairs on Duval and other areas of the city, and with their permission, we've started to look at contractors to make these necessary repairs. We've been able to get unit pricing comparable to work that's been done in other cities. And what we plan on doing is using these prices, which would allow us to avoid additional engineering costs, and we should be able to save the city a substantial amount of money by just having a private contractor do the work, and we'll basically general contract the work ourselves in-house. So I would hope that if things go as scheduled, I'd like to begin these repairs starting sometime in July. Speaking of saving money, you may remember me mentioning last month about our generator failing the last time we had that long power outage. Cummins Bridgeway, our generator company, the company that services our generator, I might mention it's only 3 years old, gave us an estimate of $5,396.32 to replace a turbocharger on the unit. And I'm happy to say Scott DeGear, our mechanic, was not very happy with that price. He spent a lot of time on the phone and on the internet and was able to find a company in Illinois that would rebuild our turbocharger for a cost of $487.75. The installation, the R&R of this turbo was done in-house by our mechanic, Scott, and I would just like to thank him for a job well done. And this is what makes Grosse Pointe Shores tick. When we see something we don't like, we go after it. So he was able to save a lot of money on a repair. And I'm happy to say that the generator is put in service today.
Okay.
So we are currently preparing to relocate a water service in order to serve the needs of our new guardhouse at our park entrance. And you'll notice some work beginning very soon. Things are marked out over there where everything is going to be, and you'll probably start seeing some trees come down in the next week or so, and then this water service will be located. I hope to have it done in the next couple of weeks. We need to get it relocated and things cleaned up before the park opens. So Tomorrow morning, Nick and Scott, two of our DPW staff, will be heading off to Schultz Equipment in Ithaca, Michigan, to pick up our brand-new dump truck. I'm thankful for council for that. And I can also comment that it's been 26 years since we've purchased a new dump truck and are excited about the addition to our fleet. And while I have the newspaper here, I have at home, and I'll be digging out tonight, an article, 26 years old, when we purchased our last dump truck. And in that, it says when we purchased that truck of how old the trucks were previously. So I don't know which one of you did it, but I plan on bringing it in and showing it to you, and maybe we could get some other kind of article. Brad's shaking his head no, but I do plan on doing that. Also, the harbor is now open. Bob Heckman has become a very busy guy. He started, he's got the harbor open and started draining the pool yesterday, preparing that for the upcoming season. So he'll be a busy guy, as well as the rest of our DPW staff. And as I always mention, this time of year is a time for potholes to appear. Might be a nice clean road one day, and then we got a pothole the next. Our patch crews have been out. However, if anyone sees anything that needs attention, please give us a call. We don't take those other complaints. That's an extra set of eyes that helps us out quite a bit. So that's all I have for this evening, and if you could answer, or if you have any questions, I could answer them. Yes, sir.
Are you gonna do any patching on Lake Shore south of Vernier? You know, there's-
On Lake Shore?
Yeah, it's not our road, but there's a couple places, you know, where the seam between the two is separating, you know.
I can get a hold of the county and see if we can't maybe get them to do some work, but,
It's minor, but it's gonna get, you know, it's gonna get.
yeah, good maintenance is something that'll make that road last a long time, and I may have a few contacts. I can make some phone calls, and we'll see if we can't get something done there.
Mark, you have a point?
Yeah, just one quick thing. Brett was modest in saying that the engineer's estimate for Duval was over $400,000. And he and the contractor, and we're gonna ask council if you would make sure it goes in the minutes that that you're approving us to, and this was the recommendation also of the finance committee, to go in and repair that at unit prices with an existing contractor. I think it's asphalt control, even though it's a concrete street.
Yes.
And that's who will be doing the work. And that's giving us almost I think just a little over 200,000 more to go on another street. And we expect to start that July 2nd, I think, so.
We have a budget preliminary of the road repair of $250,000 for the non-major street refund. If we were to do Duval alone and do it the traditional way, which would be like the Woods would do it, which is from curb to curb replaced, that's $400,000. So it'd take us 2 years to do 2 streets.
Wow.
The approach that we're gonna take is it's really a cut and paste. We're gonna cut out the bad sections, rebar them, pour new sections, and seam the seams between the two expansion joints with tar. Duval's a low traffic street. It doesn't get, you know, so Brett's confident he can get 20+ years out of it this way for about 110,000, you thought?
130,000.
$130,000. So that gives us $100,000 more to go after Briarcliff and some of these other streets where with the sewer separation occurred back, you know, in the 90s, and that concrete's deteriorating, but we can saw cut, expand the gap, if you will, and replace that and do it the same way, because they're low traffic streets. So let's try that approach. It's easier, and if it doesn't work, well, hell, we can always tear it out. But so that's gonna come before council. But the reason we're talking about it is we're asking the council not to require a multiple bidding situation. We're not gonna put this out for bid. It's gonna be a contracted price with our contractor, so we have to waive the formal bidding requirement. The per square foot price is comparable, and Brett has statistics that say this is what the Woods pays per square foot. Like sidewalk replacement, you know, you pay so much per square foot. So it'll be on a per square foot basis, and he's gonna have an engineer, we're gonna contract with the engineering company just to keep them on us.
Correct.
Just to be eyes and ears over there, just to make sure but Asphalt Controls does your sewer, does your catch basins, your sidewalks, so.
And our minor street repairs where we have small work.
So they're known to us. They're not an unknown entity, and they know how we work, his expectations, the residents' expectations. So we think it's a good approach to do that, because we're trying to, the idea of the fund is to, you know, do so much every year, and if we do that every year continuously, like trimming the trees and the same thing, then it's a lot easier just to take one bite of the elephant, you know, that idea, as opposed to, oh my God, you know, like Grosse Pointe was, oh, we haven't fixed the street in 15 years, all of a sudden we gotta raise $40 million, and then you gotta spend it efficiently. Well, everybody now has got road money, you know, the state's gonna go out with these big road projects, and the farms has got big road projects, so the cost per unit's gonna go up a lot. So if we do it our way, and then you're flexible on the timing with them, and they know they get paid, it works out well for us, it's a good thing, so that's our approach in a long-winded way.
Duval's an all-concrete street, right?
Yes, sir, it
It's
is.
all concrete.
Yes.
Well, Mark, do we need a separate motion now?
Yeah, that'd be great, just,
Or we can just do it next month.
yeah, I can
or-
put it on next month.
It's just something to talk about,
Okay.
these are all the little gems that you're gonna see in the budget plan that we're trying to, you know,
But that's good work, good forward planning, you know, for saving some money, you know, and if we can eliminate the redundancy of engineering.
It creates a lot of work for the Public Works Department, but it's money well spent, I think. I mean,
and it's tangible to residents, you know, where we're actually,
Right. I think they like the idea of the shores being the general contractor sometimes,
I think
to
you're right.
take responsibility for the job, so I think that that's a
we did the
plus.
same thing with the sewer, when we cleaned the sewer.
Yep.
That's
you know,
right, that's
we
right.
contracted that ourselves, you know, we had help from the engineering company, but we were the primary guys, and you saved a, you know,
Yeah.
a boatload of money, or a sewer pipe full of money.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
When they shut that water down
Yes.
up north there, does that water then have to be boiled?
So far, no. If we're able to maintain a positive pressure, we're able to flush, and they pre-chlorinate the lines. So far, we haven't had any reason that we've had to do that.
Possibility?
If we have a negative pressure where, under some circumstance, groundwater would get in and contaminate the system, that would be a possibility. However, that's one of the main things that we try not to do. As a matter of fact, we won't give a full shut-off. We'll leave the water on a little bit just so it has positive pressure and flows a little bit. That's something that's very important to us. We need to make sure that we don't do that. A boil water might take 3 to 7 days to get that water clear.
wow.
So, yeah, we don't want to do that.
Willison and Lake Shore,
Yes.
there's that area there, is that infrasource? No one's done anything with the landscaping
That
there.
is correct.
Is that infrasource or is that part of the traffic lights?
No, that is, if you're talking about Williston, right near the intersection.
North side, right at the
Yeah,
intersection?
that particularly is an area where a main has to be shut down. They have 2 live gas mains on that particular street as we speak. When all the houses are connected over to the new one, then they have to dig it up again and shut off the old one, and then the company will do the restoration. And within the last week, these restoration crews are just going crazy. It's so hard to keep track of them. We've had our hands full, but they're doing a pretty good job. The end result is a good job. We'll leave it at that. Yes, sir.
What are those, we're replacing they're pulling a new water main, and those big concrete sewer pipes, that's what, they're putting manhole cover, new manholes
Those
in?
big concrete
Catch basin or?
things are basically where valve pits go.
Oh,
The big water main valves that we're able to turn the main off and on and isolate mains if we have a water main break, they go in those
and
manholes.
the residents thought that was the pipe going down the street.
No.
That's a big water pipe,
Yeah,
they said.
there is a piece of pipe laying on the street right in the curve right now. That area right there, they're gonna be doing some directional drilling. Actually drill a curved hole in the ground, they're gonna pull that pipe into the ground. Should work out pretty neat without digging everything up. And then there's another section between Duval and Shorecrest, they're gonna be doing pipe bursting. So they're actually gonna feed a new pipe through the old pipe, and it breaks out the existing. So again, we won't have to have a lot of excavation in the area, so.
Wow.
A lot of new technology being used, and so far it's working out very well for us.
Brett, one last question. You mentioned the swimming pool. Is it in okay shape, or?
Looks to be in great shape. Matter of fact, again, he started pumping it down yesterday. Usually takes 2 or 3 days to pump down, and we're at the, after the garbage route's done, all the guys go over there and start shoveling out the leaves and debris that got in there over the winter, and right now we have no surprises.
Okay, good.
And hopefully it'll stay that way. But it seems to be in very good shape, thank you.
As far as the harbor, I know I sent an email out. I've been getting a few phone calls in the last week and a half about the condition of the harbor, the dead fish and the floating materials in there. Is that your department?
It
that
is.
to clean that out? Okay, how does that work? Like once a
Well,
week, once
let me explain. I mean, our harbor opened,
Saturday?
this Saturday.
Right.
And since Saturday, we've pulled out over 400 fish, which is very typical.
Okay,
It's very normal. We've had a right square due east wind since Saturday, and we're getting all the stuff. And we're honey dipping as much as possible. We have 3 boats in the harbor at this time. I probably have 20 man-hours honey dipping that harbor, trying to clear that stuff. But we're trying to balance right now between keeping the harbor clean for the 3 boaters, and we have a pool we're trying to get ready. We're started working on a tennis court, you know, amongst our normal
We don't
regular
have
projects, so. I'm sorry?
We don't have our summer help yet.
Our summer help has not started yet. We have one person that, we have working by himself on the brush truck, picking up brush right now, so. Right now, it's all hands on deck, and if what you see there was, I don't know what day the pictures came, but that's very typical.
okay.
If you go back there today, it might be a whole lot better. It probably won't be worse, because normally the first cleanup has all the dead fish.
Okay.
After that, it's mostly seaweed and garbage that just.
No Asian carp, are there?
Not yet, not yet.
Too bad you don't have some eagles, they'd be happy with all that
Thank you,
fish.
Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Park and Harbor, Bob?
We just had a meeting last week, and our major discussion was to reevaluate the well rates. Mr. Kowalski, Tom, the harbor guy, is getting information from the various municipalities, and hopefully they'll come back with some well rates so that we can probably take a look at long-term rates, so we can help pay off our bond. So, I mean, Ms. Rhonda would like that. Oh, she disappeared. No.
She's not on payroll. She's on jury duty.
Oh, I give her a lot of credit and a lot of work. Anyhow, we're looking at that and hope to bring that back to council within the next 2 months.
You're not gonna raise rates this year, right?
No, we're past due that, because he's already had to send out.
Yeah, this year's all set.
So we're getting ready to go out, probably come, so that we can get up ahead of time. And maybe make it a long term, and so much per year for the next 2 or 3 years.
How many
Okay.
wells are available this year?
I can't answer that question, I don't know that yet.
We'll get that information.
We can get it, just, he's been busy trying to do all the other stuff too. And,
Tina, any update? No? Okay, thanks, Bob. Legal report, Brian?
Thanks, Mayor. Since the date of the last city council meeting held on March 21st, 2017, the city attorney has been engaged in the following activities on behalf of the city. First, we finalized a no insurance ordinance amendment and a notice of enactment for publication that was approved by city council at the last meeting. That's now finalized, published, part of our books. We consulted with the city regarding a 2017 property tax assessment concerning the property located at 950 Lakeshore Road. We also reviewed and consulted with the city regarding an updated city planner analysis that concerned the Deep Lands Lane subdivision proposal. And in that connection, we also reviewed and consulted with the city regarding a report that had been prepared in advance of last month's Planning Commission meeting by the Deep Lands Neighborhood Association. We prepared for and attended that Planning Commission meeting at which the Deep Lands Lane subdivision proposal was considered. Subsequently, we prepared a timeline memorandum regarding next steps for city council action concerning what we understand will be the Planning Commission's recommendation to the city council on the Deep Lands proposal. Multiple items of correspondence, conference calls, and other communications with the city planner, the city engineer, and the attorney for the Deep Lands Lane subdivision proposed developer. We also consulted with the city regarding a Michigan Open Meetings Act issue and applicable case law that, again, relates back to the Deep Lands project. We reviewed the city engineer's report regarding Ford House construction issues. And we also consulted with the city regarding a recently received Freedom of Information Act request that was granted by the city. And that is my report for the month. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
All the work that you've been consulting with the city as far as deep plans, will that be reimbursed to the city or no? That's,
We had a deposit in place from the developer that's long since been used up. I think we got 20 or 25,000 initially,
I believe it was 20.
20.
and we are more than double that
Right.
in terms of cost expended.
so who's paying for this?
We're eating those costs. We forwarded the bill to the developer, but I'm not holding my breath.
And just for clarification, those are costs for in part for legal, city
Yeah.
planner, city engineer,
Yeah.
Traffic Improvement
All the
Association, all the
consultants
consultants that were involved in the project,
All the experts.
all the experts.
So you know what I can tell you is, somebody's gonna pay for it, either this guy or the next guy.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking, wow, I mean, that we're incurring cost on somebody's.
Well, it's part of the
Right.
city's job, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, we've incurred costs, and if this guy doesn't wanna, if the city, that we choose not to act favorably on his proposal and he doesn't modify and go forward,
Right,
and the next, somebody's gonna eventually develop the property.
sure.
I can assure you that the next developer, whomever that may be, that will be a cost that they will assume someplace. We are not going to absorb that indefinitely.
Thank you. Okay.
Because there's a benefit to the city to having that level of analysis done.
Absolutely.
So if the next developer comes along, if there's a next developer, and proposes something differently, many questions will have already been answered. And I don't say that with any presupposing that the current development proposal is going to be denied. That's for you to determine, that's for city council to determine. But one way or another, what is incurred is to the benefit of the city as well as to the developer who is suggesting a particular plan.
Brian, has the developer indicated he's gonna exhaust his administrative remedies by appearing before the city
We
council?
haven't heard anything more. You know, the normal procedure is that the planning commission makes a recommendation to the city council as to the proposal on the table. The planning commission has got draft minutes. The planning commission then finalizes those minutes at its next meeting. Then that recommendation moves forward to city council for essentially an independent review. It's not an appeal because there's been no final decision, it's only a recommendation. It's an independent review of the planning commission's recommendation. So that would really, unless it was totally withdrawn, that would go forward anyway,
Okay,
even if the developer didn't appear.
okay.
At least the way that the ordinance is written and the way that it trots out in the ordinance, it would go forward anyway, and the council would make its own independent decision.
So it's not an appeal, it's not an interlocutory appeal, it comes before us as a matter of first impression.
That's essentially right.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, thanks, Brian. Mark, managers meeting?
Sure. Easter egg hunt, according to the staff, was a big success. 121 tickets sold, 180 people were in attendance. The first step of the historical designation that's underway, the Grosse Pointe Historical Society has picked our building for a special historical plaque. And using the help of our staff upstairs, meaning the ladies who know how to place things, it'll be on the door, it'll be to the right of the door as you enter from the parking lot, centered on the brick. So we're looking forward to that, and then I think the mayor, you and I, Art Woodford, and anybody else that would like to, the presentation is May 9th at 7 p.m. in the Grosse Pointe Farms Community Center. So if anybody else would like to go, just let me know, and we'll get the tickets for that. The mayor's prayer breakfast is Thursday, May 4th at the Yacht Club. Our staff will be taking the registrations and stuff there. Tickets are $25 per person. The speaker this year is Jack Krasula, who I don't know, but he has a radio show on WJR called Anything is Possible. So those council members have their tickets if they can go. Let us know. Arbor Day Fun Run is Sunday, May 9th, in addition to having Arbor Day that day, inside, and $5 registration. Again, we thank one of our local residents, the mayor's neighbor, Dan Stahl, who provides us the shirts every year and has for a number of years now. And I'm not sure what color they are, but they might be maize color. Something that glows, you know, they could, I'm not 100% sure.
That saves us about $1,500, I understand, right?
It's a great, and he's very nice to do that. And I'm probably stealing your thunder here. The Shark Swim Team registration is April 22nd, Saturday at 8:30 a.m. right here in this room. Then we had a communication from Christina Rail, who is upset like everyone else at how the power keeps going out. She was gonna do a petition and present to council, and finally, other people told her, now suggestion, she would love to see this recorded in the minutes, that council would be supportive of having a consumer advocate appointed to the Public Service Commission, because most of the members of the Public Service Commission have some connection with the utilities. And if you make a complaint, all they do is send it to the utility and said, oh, what's wrong with this complaint? And they say, oh, well, we've taken care of that, and that's the end of it. So no action ever happens. So if you'd like to, she'd be very pleased to, she talked to the Public Service Commission, this is for a note. I was advised not to waste my time circulating a petition, because the commission would likely do nothing about it. So she was suggested to have council go on record as supporting that they appoint a consumer advocate. If you'd like to do that, I can prepare a so-called resolution. But again, might be a nice thing. Members of council got a chance to meet Julia Harris, who grew up here, lived just north of us. She's going to be our intern this summer. And she's going to be working on a lot of projects. She's a student at Wayne State, and working on her Master's of Public Administration. She's got 2 terms left to go. She's working on a number of things, some historical, some things that, you know, we like to be first on things rather than second. So we'll be working on some designations as like a bike-friendly community and a senior or age-friendly community. Now that I'm old, we need these kinds of things, you know. So, and she's fluent in Russian. So next year when I'm visiting Russia, maybe she can teach me at lunchtime the right things to say, so I'm not upsetting Putin or somebody. So, the park project was discussed earlier. John Vitale from Stuckey Vitale Architects is helping us with our Title V plan. That's a review of all of our facilities for handicapped access, and we'll be addressing some of those and checking them off in our budget process. But he's also going to assist us for a negotiated, pretty inexpensive price for a wonderful looking guard shack. So he's going to be working on that too. We talked to the fence people already. We're getting the water line moved, and so things are progressing. But as I said last month, not enough time for us to tear down the tennis courts and really without messing up the park this summer. So I think we will be allowing demolition of the tennis courts for replacement right after Labor Day, right around that time. So, and we'll get more, and I think that's all the stuff I'm supposed to say. So,
I think we're gonna do some light repairs though, the tennis
we are.
courts, the north side.
There's guys working on it, filling the holes, and getting the 2 north courts playable.
Okay, good, for our tournament. Thanks, Mark. Any questions of Mark?
Have you talked to the Yacht Club, Mark, about how their project's coming along on the tennis courts, and they seem to be late?
No. We'll be talking to them very shortly. Tom has been in contact with them. we've had to remind them that they owe us some permit monies, which came in today, and their new finance officer has asked for some backup on how we compute the rent, our share of the rentals of the wells that they use that are actually owned by the city. So we're looking for that documentation, and we'll be talking to them shortly to get that money in too.
On Mark, I forgot to ask about the seawall. Is there any progress? Is that something we could work with our intern with this summer?
I should have put this on the list. We've met with the Corps of Engineers people twice, and there will be another meeting scheduled. It was gonna be yesterday, and their expert from out of the area wasn't able to come. Brett, on behalf of the city, forwarded them material, aerial photographs and locations of all of our facilities that drain into the lake, which is what Grosse Pointe Farms did as well. And there are some, I attended a meeting of FEMA, who's done quite a bit of mapping, and we're in a couple of different, we're not significantly affected by a new drainage district map, but we'll be following up with them, and that may help us also. There might be some grant monies available or some other study monies from the Corps available to look at what the proper replacement there. And our congressional delegation has been helpful to us, and as the county commissioner and Wayne County's office staff.
Good, thanks. Thanks, Mark. Next item, old business, no new business. Public comment? We have any public comment? Public comment, Vito? Nothing?
We could have set a record.
Could have set a record, Ted.
I had talked to some, Vito Cosenza, 562 Ballantyne. I had been talking to some people last week relative to the Deeplands area. And I kind of got the impression you were going to discuss whether or not, I think the Planning Commission approved it, and they were going to bring it up for you to decide whether or not you were going to approve the proposal tonight. I didn't hear anything.
That is incorrect. The Planning Commission voted to recommend denial of the project because it violated some city ordinances. And because of this is not on tonight's agenda because there would only be draft minutes. Next Tuesday, the Planning Commission will review and act upon the draft minutes. And so it will be on the May council agenda.
So be on the May agenda. And I guess I'll say my thought about the idea. If it doesn't conform, I don't think it should be approved. And I think that seems to be the opinion that they had, and I don't think should override it. I've seen that happen in St. Clair Shores that I was involved in, that the Planning Commission approved everything, but the council knocked it down. And I hate to see the reverse here for this project, because it seems there's a lot of questions open as to how that's going to affect everybody that live in that area.
Well, it calls for a deviation, and our chairperson is here, and I mean, that's like almost akin to a variance, similar to, I think, the concept of a variance. But it's a deviation according to the city planner's guidebook. So, and that's, and then we had that windstorm a few weeks ago, and we saw trees that were hardy trees one day and trees falling across the street the next day, and it, I guess, makes you realize how vulnerable if you don't have a redundant ingress and egress from a street. It really makes you feel a little bit vulnerable. So, I understand, Vito, but,
Okay.
yeah, thanks. Any other public comment? If not, council comment, Bob?
I just got one, appreciate the Mark and company putting that planning meeting on the TV too.
Oh,
I couldn't attend it, but it was interesting to watch that and the comments from the people. I really appreciate that. It really worked out well.
okay,
So thanks, Mark.
good.
That's it.
Gina?
Nothing.
Bruce?
All set.
Doug?
Just wanna put out the call once again, for volunteers in this community. Because the Easter egg hunt, the other day, Helen and a few of her crew showed up to decorate the park. And then Mark and his people, Mark's people from upstairs threw the party. And none of them people even live in Grosse Pointe Shores. They were out there doing it for us. You know, we need to get some people out here helping with all the stuff that takes place. The car show that you put on, everything. You know, I mean, it really surprised me, the demographics of all the people that were out there. There were a few grandma and grandpas out there, but man, there was a bunch of young folks out there, the 30s and 40-year-olds. You know, that's gotta be part of your resume, is volunteering to help out in what we do here in this city for everybody. Not having people from other cities do it for us.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Well said. A few comments, Mark touched upon some of them, is this Saturday at 8:30 at 10 o'clock, is our swim team registration. I think last year we had 110 swimmers. We have a larger number of young families moving in, which is great for the city. That's the future of our city. We're hoping to have about 130 swimmers sign up for this year's swim team. And the nice thing about swimming and tennis, I guess you could look at golf and other sports, those are life sports. Those are sports that even somebody as old as me can enjoy at this age. And I mean, that's the great thing about something that starts right here in the city.
They need volunteers for that too.
Well, we do need volunteers. One of our co-chairpersons had an unexpected heart attack, and so we're looking for more volunteers to help out. At the swim teams, you know, our competitive meets, we're looking for timers. We're looking for people to hand out the awards. We have ribbons for the winners. It's really a neat event to see the community come together. And again, it's just nice seeing the young families there, you know, the younger families. Mark mentioned the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast and the Arbor Day Run. But later that day, I think it's at 12:30, Grosse Pointe Wood Shores is having the annual Little League Parade. And I can only think back a couple years ago when Grosse Pointe Wood Shores, you know, and we had 4 from Grosse Pointe Shores on the team, 4 or 5 on the All-Star team, and they represented our Great Lakes region. They drew the worst draw possible. They had the #1 team in the country, Chula Vista, California. And after 6 innings, the game was 0-0. I mean, that was Grosse Pointe Wood Shores Little League. The game was over, but it was 0-0. They went to extra innings. They lost in extra innings. And that was the team that won the national championship. So it shows you, you know, the activities that we have here in Grosse Pointe that are unparalleled. We're going to move the town hall, Mark, then to May 13th. So if you rely on the calendar, and we'll try to get notices out, maybe emails, maybe our monthly newsletter, to get more people at the town hall. Saturday, May 13th, where we talk about finances and the finance committee's efforts. I see Chuck in the back there, and you know, under the leadership of Bruce here, you know, trying to you know, handle the really tough task of finances. And I understand we have one of our first customers of WOW in our city clerk. And Bruce said he's very happy with the service, and so it's been a long time coming. A lot of great people pushing for it. Brian, your help. Mark, your help. Trying to call people that could help us, I think, bring some competition to the city. So our next council meeting is May 16th. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I don't think we did it, Bruce, no.
Not bad.
Our trash can. Our trash can's gone.
I don't know.
Back to work.
Yeah, back to work.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that, because that was kind of interesting. I usually don't watch stuff like that. I spotted that and I started watching it.
Okay,
Even if they don't present it,
okay.
they're live.
We gotta approve the budget, so
Especially after I told him.
I gotta put a car wash.
Bob said he never missed a meeting.